honestly, I feel like this is so timely. I was actually talking to one of my clients yesterday, and this client is going through a situation where her supervisor is not a great supervisor at all, actually. And I, because of the relationship we have, I'm able to see some of the emails. I've been asked to sit in on some of the calls, and I can see what is happening, the manipulation and so on and so forth. And it made me think about strength. People talking about, I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm strong, and we can tell people to be strong. And there's a quote by what was that, Mike? The movie in Creed, I think it was Sylvester Stallone, is like, it's not about how hard you hit, but you get hit and pick yourself back up. I think we
That's
have
right.
that. Yeah, we have a great image of what strength is. However, going through that situation with this client, I realized people need to figure out that strength is not always, getting hit and standing, getting back up. Sometimes it's realizing that you don't deserve to be punched in the face multiple times, right? So
Hey, to the man.
sometimes it's the strength is, you know what? I believe in myself. I need to go somewhere else where I'm valued. So I
That's right.
really appreciate what you were sharing right now.
I think that's where we, as leaders, we're expected to be strong. We're always expected to be, you know, this core strength that exists, and that's how we relate. We say leadership is about that, but leadership also is about asserting your right to be valued. You know, leadership is about asserting your right
Mm-hmm.
to influence, yes, but to make sure that you are not influenced against your core.
Mm-hmm.
That's leadership. You will not influence me against my core. And so I think that's the part of strength. We don't always work to build up. We're so busy working on the skill of being great leaders, working on the talent associated with being great leaders. But we don't always communicate about the worth of leadership internally. That like you said, yes, I can get knocked down 7 times, or on the eighth time, I could say, you know what, I'm going to remove myself from this situation
Mm-hmm.
so your arm can't reach me. That's going to be better for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, again, not something we always communicate well because we expect people to be strong. And the way we have viewed strength kind of traditionally is that I can take it. And we have to get past that.
And so again, I have to be very careful when I say this because I understand that people will possibly interpret what I say in a way I didn't mean it. Um, but to your point, 2020 has been a very rough year, a really rough year. I mean, just for myself, my grandfather passed from COVID a couple months ago. My grandmother's been in the hospital. I, that is a whole list of why 2020 is not one of my favorite years. Um, Yet, as you said, it has forced me to become more resilient. It has forced me to be more creative, creating online content, online resources and courses. Um, I guess where I'm going with this is, as you've been talking to the senior leaders who you coach and you train, how have you walked that line of ensuring that, kind of being compassionate, being there with them? Yes, this is a very tough time, while also saying, yeah, but you can't just pull back. You can't go into your shell. You got to keep moving forward, keep growing. How do you walk that line, or share with them how to walk that line?
I had a conversation yesterday with a gentleman. He's running for office and of course waiting. And uh, he said, there's a part of me that wants to get a fluffy blanket, go to bed until it's all over. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm,
And we expect that. And so we had this conversation, and by the end, he was his energy had shifted, and he was telling me how he was planning to move forward. And that line between, again, yes, I can sit here and we can honestly own the hurt. There's no way around that. Let's own the hurt. But then after we've owned the hurt, let's look at how we work through it, how we work the hurt. Because if you cut me and I'm bleeding, there's a process to that healing that has to happen. And we've been hurt. We've been damaged in some way. So the line says, yes, that's the first thing. Yes, that hurt. And then now, as I'm healing, how do I heal best? And then how do I look forward? Because what we can't afford to do, especially now when we have teams that are working remotely, we're trying to, maintain trust in those teams, maintain influence when we can't see each other physically. We can't water cooler talk. We can't call you into the office. What we must do is make sure we're being candid with those we're leading. We're being candid about what's happening, even our own vulnerabilities and weaknesses, and that we're using that candor to establish rapport and trust, even with ourselves. Getting on a call and saying, this was just a rough week, guys. And, I know we're having this check-in, but is anyone else feeling the way I'm feeling? I'm feeling this way. Owning it. And then once you've owned it and you've acknowledged it, still being able to say, now, let's shift this energy. Let's shift these feelings and let's talk about how we can work through them step by step. And then celebrating the wins, because what I find is if you can celebrate every time you make a step, I'm so sorry your family suffered loss, but you're here today. So that means something in you every day made a step. Something in you every day kept going.
Yeah.
And we have to celebrate those wins. Do you know what I mean? We have to say, yep, I made it another day.
Mm-hmm.
I checked off some boxes. I crossed some things off my list. Yay, me. And then being vulnerable enough to say that I need that, and say that where we normally would not, in spaces we would normally, executives and leaders, entrepreneurs, we don't share our weaknesses. We don't share, we just keep pushing. But when you finally stop and say, wow, that sucked, and it took me revamping, as you said, my task list, my goals for the year. And I'm hitting those marks. I'm hurting, but I'm hitting those marks. I'm going to celebrate every time I put up a new article. I'm going to celebrate every time I get a new course, done. And winning, even the small wins, and celebrate them. That, I think, is the difference between staying in that space where you're feeling negative and hurt, and then kind of pulling your way out of it. Is sharing it and celebrating the wins through it. I think that's okay.
Hello, everyone. This is Alex Tremble from GPS Leadership Solutions. And if you found this last interview to be awesome, spectacular, and actually you benefited from it, let me tell you, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Visit the alextrembleshow.com, information below in the description, and that's where you'll find the full, uninterrupted interview. And I'm telling you, there's so much great content you'll hear from this past leader, as well as all the other leaders we've already interviewed. So remember, don't just look back, reach back. If there's someone who you think will benefit from this interview or any of the other interviews, make sure you share it with them. Click the like, click the subscribe, and as I always like to end all my sessions, stay strong, stay positive, and definitely stay moving.